So today I'm going to talk about what I love about Orlando and what I hate about Orlando, and I'm starting right now. Hi there, I'm Kathy Williams with Home Best Realty in Orlando, Florida. And if you're interested in the Orlando lifestyle and real estate, then you may want to subscribe to my channel and click the bell. That way you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. So let's just start with the good and the bad about Orlando. Let's just start with the obvious ones, the weather. The weather here is beautiful. We have sunshine almost 365 days a year. It is gorgeous. You can do so many outdoor activities 365 days a year. Even when it rains, they call it liquid sunshine. We love it here. And with that beautiful weather comes the heat. We have about 6 months of the year of gorgeous, incredible weather. And then we have about 6 months that is hot. It is blazing hot, humid, unbearable heat. It's just the worst. You get in your car, you're just immediately sweating. You walk out the door, you're immediately sweating. It's tough. So what you do to combat that is, if you're going to do something outdoors like golfing or biking or walking, just go early. Just go super early in the morning, and then you just stay in the air conditioning for the rest of the day. Problem solved. The next thing I hate about Orlando is the theme parks. So the theme parks are great, and I absolutely love Disney and Universal Studios. I especially love going to the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. That's such a great event. Love going to that. The food is great. And we have so many great theme parks, everything from Legoland to Fun Spot to the big Orlando Eye Ferris wheel that's out on iDrive. We have just a ton of great theme parks, even theme parks within theme parks, because Disney has its own several theme parks plus Disney Springs. And so there's just so many great theme parks to go to. I was talking to a friend of mine who was here recently, and her son actually enjoyed Legoland better than Disney because it wasn't as crowded. Which brings me to the reason why I don't like the theme parks, is the traffic and the crowds and the tourists that descend on our fair city. We have to have them, we need them, and I'm so glad they're here to help our economy. But if you are down on that end of town, it's just such bad traffic and so many people there. And if you go to the mall, shopping, restaurants, anything on that end of town, you just have to be prepared for massive crowds. Any time of the year, really. I mean, there are certain seasons where it's a little lower, like maybe right after Christmas, not right after, but when school starts back up, right after Christmas. But it's just one of those things that we hate about living in Orlando. And then next on the list, another thing that's pretty obvious is the beaches. We're so close to the beaches living in Orlando. We have New Smyrna Beach and Daytona. That's on the East Coast. It's only about an hour away. And then we have St. Pete, Clearwater. It's about 2 hours away. So either way we go, we have gorgeous beaches to see and enjoy and spend time at. And you can even just take an evening and go over to the beach and have sunset at the beach for dinner and come back. So there's a lot of really, really great opportunities to go to the beach anytime. But the con to going to the beach is just like salty and sweaty and hot, again, with the heat. But it's not too much of a con. I mean, there's so many pros to having a beach nearby. Don't you think? Yeah, that's what I think. Next up on the list is one of my favorite things about Orlando is the food scene. I'm a bit of a foodie, and I love to eat at great restaurants, unique places, and there are some awesome restaurants in Orlando, a lot of independent restaurants. There's all the big chains as well, but I love the little independent restaurants. One I go to a lot is called Mamak, and just up the street from that is Sticky Rice. Both Asian foods. I love Asian food. And another one that I love is, there's my little dog Lucy. Say hi to Lucy. She's down there. Hi, baby. Another one that I love is Seven Bites. It's a great restaurant. They have really yummy bakery goods and pies and just great yummy treats. There's also really great higher end restaurants like Prato, which is an Italian restaurant. The Osprey Tavern is another really great one that I love. Sato Sushi, Kabuki Sushi, I love sushi. So many great restaurants in Orlando, and really unique places, like experimental places, I want to say. Like there's one that just opened called Chicken, and it's Korean fried chicken. Just unique things that we have here that are growing. That's growing a lot. There's a ton of noodle places right now going in. Hi, I'm here at Domu, which is one of the best noodle places in Orlando. It's at a really cool place called the East End Market. It's got awesome shops, coffee shops. There's a cute succulent shop. There's all kinds of great little places in here to grab a bite. And it's just a cool place to hang out. So if you have decided that Orlando might be your future residence, check out my Orlando relocation guide below. You are going to love it. It's a great resource. Next up on the list is the traffic. So in Orlando, it's just like a big city. We have traffic. We have a lot of traffic, a lot of cars, a lot of people coming and going, a lot of tourists, a lot of people just who live here. And the big problem is I-4. There's about a 15-year project going on right now that they're going to be building I-4 and developing it into multiple lanes and multiple toll lanes, and so it's a problem, and lanes are changing every day, so you have to just be really careful. I use an app called Waze, and it's a pretty easy app, and it's very easily to download. But I use, even though I know where I'm going in Orlando, I've lived here 30 years, I know the area, but I use Waze because it'll help me to avoid traffic, and that's really important, with this crazy traffic world that we live in. So it helps you find, there are options here. We've got a lot of toll roads and expressways and just alternative ways to get around that to help you avoid the traffic. So it's a pro and a con, maybe you could call it that. Next up on the list is the variety of neighborhoods. We have some really cool neighborhoods in Orlando, a lot of older neighborhoods with brick-lined streets and just charming little areas with older 1950s, mid-century homes. We have beautiful homes on lakefront sites. There's probably 150 to 200 lakes. There's probably more than that in Orlando. But main big skiable lakes to live on is a premium to live on a lake, and but if you have the opportunity to do that, it is a lifestyle that you want to live. It's so beautiful. There's just skiing and jet skiing and boating and paddleboarding. There's just so many fun things to do on a lake that if you can live on a lake, I highly recommend it in Orlando. It's just a great lifestyle. But there's other neighborhoods. We have great communities. We have a newer community near downtown called Baldwin Park. There's a lot of variety here: condominiums, apartments, townhomes, single-family homes, all different price ranges in Orlando. Everything you can find here. So the con, I guess, to the housing in Orlando and the great neighborhoods is that the prices have gone up a lot. We're not the most expensive place to live in the United States, for sure, but the prices have gone up steadily for the past 5 years, and they've leveled off some in the last year or so, but it's getting expensive. So if you're thinking about moving here, I would think about it pretty quickly, because the prices keep going up, because it is a great place to live. So next up on my list is one of my favorite parts of living in Central Florida are the springs. We have nearby beautiful natural springs that you can go swim in, you can paddleboard in, snorkel. The water is always a constant temperature, and it's really cold when you first get in, but it's so refreshing and it feels wonderful. We have rock springs, blue springs. One of my favorites is Wekiva Springs. And I go there as often as I possibly can. It's just rejuvenating. It feels wonderful. And you just feel like you're back to nature. And it's only maybe 15, 20, 30 minutes to the different springs. So it's a lot of fun to live in that area. Also, just the fact that we have so many lakes in Orlando. We have lakes that you can paddleboard in that are connected to each other. So it's really fun. You can get on your paddleboard, start at one lake, go down the canal, get to the next lake. There's areas where you can literally go from 3 different towns through the lakes. So it's a pretty neat experience. The con to that, I guess I would have to say, is the bugs. We have bugs in Orlando, and as you're probably thinking right now in your mind, I know what you're thinking, right? Gators. Yes, we do have gators here, and there's some big ones, and there's some little ones. There's all sizes of gators. But I have to say, the neighborhood Patrol does a really pretty good job of getting them out of lakes in the city. So you really don't see gators that much here, but they're here. They're here for sure. So it could be a con if you're deathly afraid of gators. I'm not. I just keep my distance, and again, I don't really see them very often. Another thing I love about Orlando is how beautiful it is. We have just a beautiful, clean city. I've traveled a lot and I've seen a lot of cities, and I feel like Orlando really keeps it clean. I'll go into a city and I'll see trash on the side of the road, and you just do not see trash in Orlando on the side of the road. It's just kept really clean and beautiful all the time, and I really love that about Orlando. Another thing is just the natural beauty. We have just gorgeous floral trees and bushes and plants and flowers, and there's so many things in bloom all the time. We have birds that fly in from all different parts of the world here during the winter. They fly south for the winter, and so we have many species of birds, but we also have some that are here year-round that are incredible, like the sandhill crane, egrets, ibis. There's so many birds, and you can just be going for a walk in your neighborhood and see some of these birds, and it's incredible. And along with all of our beauty here, that I would say it is just a natural, beautiful area. But the con to that would be definitely the bugs and the pollen. This year, every year, there's pollen that comes out certain times a year, a couple times a year, and I don't have allergies, but those times of the year I am sneezing, my nose is running. So it's a con. A lot of people really hate that part. If you have allergies, it's something to consider because it gets really bad. Certain times of year, our cars turn green from all the pollen dust. You can't keep your car clean certain times of the year just because of the pollen dust. But it's a trade-off, the beauty, the pollen, the beauty, the pollen. And another thing that I really love about Orlando is the amount of entertainment. I didn't lump this in with the whole Disney and theme park thing because I feel like Orlando stands on its own with its entertainment industry. We have NBA teams, we have soccer teams, we have hockey teams. There's so many great sports activities that you can go to and see in Orlando. There's also Broadway theater. We have beautiful Broadway theater acts that comes through, the Bob Carr Theater, and the Dr. Phillips Theater is an amazing theater to go to see the current Broadway theater that's out right now. And the Amway Theater, the House of Blues, we have a bunch of venues for live music and really great acts that come into town here. All the big names, but plus a lot of smaller bands that you may have heard of if they're your favorite and they're a small band. But they come to Orlando too, so there's so much fun entertainment that you can do here. I love that part of Orlando. And you can go to see just a small jazz band in a restaurant. A lot of fun. But the con to that would be, I would say, spending too much money. It's easy to bust your budget on going out and doing fun things, right? Well, I think that's it for now. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to my pros and my cons, what I love and what I hate about Orlando. If you've thought of something that I left off that you love or hate about Orlando and you want to share them below in the comments, please do. I'd love to hear it. And thanks again for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye now.